Good day. Today we're going to go over a little bit of just some probability stuff, kind of remind ourselves how does that work. Shouldn't be all too bad for you. We're going to be utilizing some different pieces of probability. We went over statistics, some basic stat stuff before. Now we're going to move into some probability stuff here this week and into next week as well. So just the basics with probability to review that. Some of you guys probably remember this stuff, but that just means we want to make it into usually a fraction, or we can always divide that out and turn it into a percentage. But usually we say, well, we put the successes on top, or the stuff that we're looking to find the probability of, over the total. And that's pretty much it. We're not going to go anything too advanced into there. So some different examples of that here, just a little basic spinner, right? That's the essential ideas, because we can kind of find discrete values for that. Oftentimes, if you want to do probability of, like people, or probability that, something's going to happen in the world, those become a little more like, well, is it really going to happen? And you got to go gather a bunch of data and find that out. But the principles are still the same. So in here, we're just looking, will it land on an even number? And so there, we just have to go ahead and find, all of the even numbers. And I don't care what the value of those numbers are. We're just counting how many there are. Here, there are 4 even numbers compared to a total of 8 spaces along here. So we would say here that the probability is 4 out of 8, right? That's how we would state that this is 4 out of 8. Or if you like, and we should probably reduce that as well. Sorry, it should be reduced. And then you can, if you want to, change that to a percentage. Very often we would change probabilities into a percentage as well. That's how that works. Nothing too complicated, stuff you guys have done before. You can also put different values on what you're looking for, different definitions. So here it will not land on a shaded region, which means we would pick these ones, right? Anything that is not a shaded region, we'd say, okay, we'll pick those, which there are 5 spaces. But it also says, oh, or land on the number 2. So we also want to say, nope, not landing on the number 2. So in that case, that's actually the same percentage as this one. There are actually only 4 spaces in there, giving us a 50% chance. If there were more spaces, we'd say 5 out of 8 or something like that. Like if we said, oh, what are just the shaded regions? We'd say, well, that's 3 out of 8, or 37.5%. And nothing too big there. One thing, though, that does get people a little bit more confused is when we have successive probabilities, or when we have multiple things happening at once, and we want to know what's the probability of all of that together. What a lot of people want to do is they want to add those probabilities together, which kind of makes sense. When we're grabbing things and putting them together, we often add them, but that's with like physical objects. But when we do probabilities in succession, those probabilities get multiplied. Yeah, that's the key thing, is that they get multiplied. That's successive probabilities. So here, this person, they got, some different boxes just to, kind of keep it a little bit simpler. Box 1 has a bunch of different combs. The second one only has a couple ones. She's going to reach into the first box, grab a comb, second box, grab a comb. So what's the probability that they select a red brush from box 1 and a black one from box 2? And well, we know how to find each one of those individually. Those aren't all too difficult. If I look into box 1, there are 3 red out of a total of 3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 2, so 3 out of 11. So in that first box, there are 3 reds out of 11 total. And in the second box, we're looking for 1 black box, so that's 1 out of 2. Whoops. Let's just do that part, 1 out of 2. Now, what, again, a lot of people make the mistake on is they think we should just add these probabilities together. But no, when they are happening in succession, and moreover, one thing doesn't affect the other, we just multiply them. Okay, so we have to multiply that stuff. So in this case, we would get 3 over 22, which if you want it as a percentage, I don't know what that one is off the top of my head, so I do have to type that in. Okay, and it's, it's a little big long decimal, so I'm gonna make sure I say approximately, because I am rounding here, 13.64%, right? It's actually, 13, 36, 36, 36, that repeats on forever. Where is my percent symbol? But I'm just going to round it to 2 decimal places. 2 decimal places are always a good location to round stuff to. So that's the main stuff with probability. Again, not going too in depth here. We're just kind of getting those basics. But the thing that people will forget is that successive probabilities need to be multiplied. So your guys' assignment is down below. And good luck. Let me know if you have any other questions.